We have finally made it to the great Sunshine State of Florida, and I am so excited. But I have a confession. It's not everything I thought it was going to be. The key phrase to this is the Sunshine State. See, I thought when I hit Florida that everything was going to be warm and wonderful. Yeah, maybe not so much. It's difficult to see, but there's actually snow. The thing about living on the road is things don't always go the way you imagined. And you start to really see some of your challenges and come to realize that you can't control all of the possibilities. Some of these things might really shake you up.
What's the matter, Tater? The squirrel's teasing you.
In this video, we're going to talk about some of the challenges you face when you're on the road.
Forgot to put the safety pin in the latch.
But we're also going to talk about how we wrap our brains around it and overcome them. So let's talk about what happened when we hit Florida. And really, it wasn't just when we hit Florida. It had started when we were still in Alabama. The breeze out here, is brisk. Those of you who are in the Northeast, you know what I'm talking about. That lovely cold snap that came through. And it affected the Panhandle of Florida, which is where we were staying. And I gotta say, I wasn't thrilled with it. Let's be honest. I'd heard about the Emerald Coast, and I was just so excited to put my toes in the water. I found a quiet little RV park just 15 minutes from Okaloosa Island. Forest Grove RV Park was a mobile home park that they have converted beautifully with extra long concrete pads and full hookups, space for a table and extra parking, as well as a laundry and restroom facility. About half the park is long-term stay, but I have to say, it was immaculately clean and everyone was very kind. Did I mention the squirrels? There were lots of squirrels. Our very first morning, I was ready to see the beach, so we headed down to Okaloosa Island Boardwalk.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight.
It was too cold to enjoy the beach to its fullest, so we headed up to the boardwalk to poke through the little shops and look at restaurants to find a place to eat. We settled on Rockin' Tacos Grill and Tequila Bar. It was a great little spot with a balcony that overlooked the sea and good food.
Now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. Wait for our home to show on the horizon. Soon we'll be there. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight.
Due to the temperature, there wasn't a lot happening at Harborwalk Village, so we headed back into Fort Walton to find ourselves a beer. Fort Walton is actually a great place to grab yourself an adult beverage. It's cute, it's quaint, and it has an awesome beach vibe. One day exploring was all we got, folks, because the weather started to turn, and we ended up with severe winds and our first tornado warning. We weren't quite sure what to do, so we decided to check out and see what the neighbors were doing. And to be honest, none of them seemed very concerned. So we buttoned down and waited, and luckily the tornado did not touch down near us, but it did 70 miles away. To top things off that week, I got sick and had to navigate finding health care. All of this put us in a bit of a mood. This wasn't how we'd imagined it. Challenges take an attitude adjustment. You gotta find the good. For example, the doctor's office was only a couple blocks from where we were staying. And there was a Starbucks right across the street. How do you beat that? You can't stay mad and you can't stay in bed. You have to realize this is just life. So we picked up and it was time to move on. Oh, but wait, let's talk about moving day. Us YouTubers, we love to romanticize life rolling down the road. But let's be honest. Moving day is complicated. You don't just say, oh, we're moving, and just hook up and go. It took some trial and error, but we've developed a way to make it a lot more manageable. I typically start thinking about our moving day a couple days in advance because there's a few things that I really focus in on. One of them is propane. Steve and I usually have a conversation about this. Where are we on propane levels? You would think that, oh, well, if you're in warmer weather, you don't really need to worry about propane, not a big deal. Unless you spent some time in Florida this January, February, when it got real cold. And thinking about propane was far more important than people realized. As a matter of fact, some of the places locally ran out of propane. Sometimes finding it can be a pain in the butt. This last time, I went down to the Tractor Supply, which is where we usually get propane, and they were out. So luckily, I just happened upon an Ace Hardware who did sell propane. So note to self, tuck that in the backside of your brain. Another thing I start thinking about a couple days in advance are groceries. I typically go through our pantry, go through our fridge, and see what we have. Make sure that I have some of the basic stock items that I usually keep. Because the thing about being in a trailer is you don't carry around a bunch of bulk items because you just don't want to carry A, the weight around, and B, you probably don't have the space. Then I go to menu planning. I pull out my cookbooks off of my menu list. I then create my grocery list. Yeah, duh, that's what everybody does, no? But I really have to think about it because I don't always have the items in the trailer. Then I have to find a grocery store. We really prefer to grocery shop when our trailer is set up in a camp. We do not like to have to pull the trailer into a grocery store. Sometimes that routing can be a real pain in the butt. So you're not familiar with the roads. You're not familiar with which turn to take or where to go. So if you don't have to pull that big old RV behind you, it sure makes things easier. The third thing I typically think of is fuel. Last trip, that might have slipped my mind. We may have got on the road, we may have been hauling down the interstate, and I looked down and went, we've got 66 miles to empty. It's just easier to get fuel if you're not worried about that big thing you're towing behind you. We'll see how long this takes me. Grocery shopping is mentally exhausting when you go into these places that you've never been before, because even though everything should be in the same place because it's a chain, it's not. So I'm gonna get my steps in today, almost guaranteed. It is currently 5 o'clock. So we're gonna see how long it takes me to get the groceries done. It is now 6:40, a little over an hour and a half. I do bag my own groceries, but I don't think it takes that much longer. Now I gotta find gas. I got lucky. there's a fuel station right next to the Walmart. So let's get her fueled up. The other thing I like to do when I'm in here is I like to clean the windshield, which means I have to stand on the tire or the running boards because I'm too short.
So another thing we do before we head out on travel day is open the old RV wizard and check out the path and make sure that it's not sending us down some road that we don't want to go down with the trailer. Trust but verify, always. It has sent us into some crazy places that we have no business being. So always double check and make sure that the route you're taking is feasible before you get yourself in a pickle. If I do find something in RV life that I don't like on the routing and whatnot, I'll just bring up Google Maps and compare and see what might be a better route.
For me, the day before travel day includes packing up all of the items that aren't important for us to have out every minute. Plants, clocks, things on the countertops, and then I spray everything down and wipe it off to get ready for travel day. Travel day is really about the floors and what's on them. I try to vacuum everything, wipe everything down, and put all of the furniture into place, as well as clean under the lip of the slide. And we can't forget the dogs. They have to have their little stash of toys and their little bucket of water so that they're comfortable on the ride as well. Oh, and don't forget the snacks and hydration.
Time for a dump and flush. Does everybody drink coffee when they dump their black sand? Because I do. It's early. I always dump my tanks before we head out on travel day, just so I don't have to carry all the extra weight, and then get it ready for the next spot. The next spot we're going to doesn't have sewer hookup, so we're going to have to use the tanks for a while.
Sticking to this schedule does help us get out of the park on time. A few things we always consider on drive day is the weather and what kind of roads are we actually going to be driving on that day. Those conditions help us determine how long we actually want to be on the road. The more stress, the more likely we stick to the 3-hour rule. Our destination was Marianna, Florida, at a RV park called Dove's Rest. Let's be clear, this is not a resort. This was a layover place for us to get some work done. And it's a good thing because it was cold. So cold, in fact, that they were having power outages. It rained, it snowed, and there wasn't much to do in the area or the RV park. Let's talk about one of the challenges of being on the road. Yeah. Men, I know you don't have the same problem, but women, we got this problem. What do we do with our hair? Tater, do you have to go potty? How many of you wake up first thing in the morning and put on real people clothes, like real going out in front of people clothes? Or how many of you sit around on the couch for a while in your comfies, like, you know, your sweats or whatever? I asked this question because this was a reality that I hadn't really thought about until we started traveling. We lived somewhere that had a backyard for the dogs to run around in. So I would go to the back door, open the door, and throw the dogs out to go potty. I know you have to go, don't you? That is not a reality anymore. The reality now is when I wake up, I have to think, do I want to put a bra on? Or can I maybe get away with really heavy sweatshirt? What would you guys say? And now we gotta get leashes because you can't just turn them loose. Here's the other thing. We have an entire container of dog poop bags that we have to stock up on. These were not things I thought about before. You need these things because everywhere you go, this is your job. Very important job. Nobody likes irresponsible poop leavers. A little tip. Before you take the bag, find the end that opens first. Just get it started. It's way easier. Wait. Okay. Here's another very true reality. It doesn't matter how cold it is outside, you still have to go out with them. Florida Caverns State Park is just outside of Marianna. It is one of the first 9 parks that FDR put into place during the Great New Deal. It has a lovely visitor center that talks about the flora and fauna, and also a little food truck where you can grab a snack. Cost to tour it is $16 for adults and $9 for children. It is a constant 65 degrees in the caves year-round. We suggest wearing layers. The other thing to consider is don't wear shoes that you have worn in previous caves. It has to do with cross-contamination and the bat populations. The park also offers numerous walking trails, and we even saw an armadillo. One evening, we got lucky, and the sky was just perfect for some beautiful photos. I think one of the most important things I took away from the entire Panhandle experience was that you can either get yourself in a real mood about it, or you can find the positives in it. And there were positives in it. Yeah, my first couple weeks in Florida weren't exactly the way I had imagined they were going to be. However, this is the great thing about living in an RV. You can pack up and move. So wait till you see where we're going next. But you're gonna have to hit that subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and if you ring the bell, we'll notify you when that next video comes out.